Hey guys, a lot of days begin this way. We finally reached the end of the cold weather, and I don't have to nursemaid the plumbing or run the heat anymore, so I actually have circuits to spare now for making good coffee. I'm going to show you guys something I've been working on. Keep in mind the level of construction on this structure is not on par with how a house would be built. So this doesn't even touch what I'm planning to do for building houses. What this is going to show you is what you can do with materials that you scrounge for little or no cost. This building I'm going to show you I did with no money invested whatsoever. These were all stuff from the supplies were all, other than the nails and the nail gun, were all from the cull pile at Home Depot. It's going to blow your mind what people throw away these days, what they consider garbage. And I'll show you this. Keep an eye on this. The lighting is kind of bad and I can barely see the viewfinder in this daylight, but keep in mind this was all scrounged parts. Every bit of this. None of this was paid for. None of this. All of this was gotten for free. Basically it's an 8x12 shed. The 1/4 inch water resistant paneling, that was on the cull pile at Home Depot. That OSB was on the cull pile. It only had some corners knocked off of it. So people just throw that stuff away. Every 2x4 in this building was a discard. Just because it has a little bow or a little gouge in it, people don't want them. Well, Home Depot or your hardware store, they have no choice. They have to just put it on a trash pile and sell it at a discount or get rid of it. So that's where we got all of this. The only money that was invested in this building was, I had to pay 20 bucks for the window, and there's probably 20 bucks worth of nails in it. That's about it. Me and my father framed up the initial structure, did that in a day's time, and then I did all the sheathing and all the plywood and everything that's inside. So I'll show you all that. First thing we did, or I actually put this loft in. This wash alcove, I built this wash alcove for this washer and dryer. I framed all that myself, and that's all throwaway wood. That also, there are no purchased 2x4s or 2x2s or anything in this. Built that shelving unit and came by this pile of OSB. My father actually scrounged this. They were going to throw it all away. There's nothing wrong with it. It had like a couple of 1/2 inch corners busted out, you know, or there were some partial pieces, but you can cut those to fit. I mean, there's nothing to it. And blankets are up because we've been sub-freezing and I had to heat the alcove. That's why I actually did that. But these shelves, this is a cedar beam they were going to throw away. This all was throwaway material. I did all this stud work up in here. All this is free lumber. The power box I scrounged off of a demolished house, and it was in excellent condition. Whoever had the house, they'd already upgraded the electrical, and I guess they gave up on it. And I got myself a good power box. You know, I had to run the lines in. This is the only thing I regret. I didn't have junction boxes, but I'm going to get those. It's probably something I'm going to have to buy. And I've got some UF that I'm going to put in here to replace the number 14 wire. That's number 14, not number 16. That was an old cord somebody had thrown on a junk pile, number 14 wire. I read the label on the side, and it's sufficient to carry the power. And I know there's a lot of electricians out there that are freaking out because I wired it this way, but hey, man, extension cord is outdoor wire. It can withstand moisture, so you know, it's good for this kind of thing. We're not wiring a house with it. As like I said, this is not indicative of how I would frame a house, but this is just something I built when I scrounged all these materials up. And I still have some left. I got that, and I got, let's see, 2 sheets of maybe 3 sheets of OSB over there. But yeah, nothing in this place was paid for. Nothing. It was all either scrounged off of junk piles or scrounged off of coal piles from a hardware store. But that loft, that holds all the garden tools now. They're not down here where they can be tripped over. There's 2 shelves. That shelf up there, I built it heavy enough to put a car on, but that's the hounds. that's our local nuisance, all night and all day. But anyway, I got it a half an inch too short for the stupid storage totes to go in, so it holds other things. And the same with that. I miscalculated the thickness of the plywood, but that's what happens when you don't work from blueprints. You sometimes get them off a little bit. So if I was to build a house, I'd be working from a plan, but this has all been put together ad hoc. But that's, yeah, the place is a mess. It's a shed. It's gonna be. It's all the art equipment has to be situated because I only just finished building all this. But anyway, the only thing left that I have to do is I have to put the pipes down for the washing machine. Right now I have to run it through the door, but as soon as I get my hands on a keyhole saw for that, we'll be cutting those pipes, and that'll be finished. There's a small amount of electrical wiring left to do. I hope to have that done. But all of this, I did all this with a nail gun. There's not a single bolt in this thing anywhere. Everything is nailed. And I figured out something I didn't know, and I learned this talking to a man who builds houses. He said nails are actually better for this because they have a higher shearing strength than screws do. Screws rely on the ridges to keep it. They don't have good shearing strength side to side usually, your deck bolts. So from what he was telling me, nails, if you have twisting motion, high winds and things like that, nails actually will not shear as easily as screws will, so that's what we built it out of. Plus, when you got a nail gun and you got 2,500 nails laying around, it's pretty easy to decide on what you're going to use. They're a lot cheaper than buying that many deck screws. So yeah, not one screw in this thing anywhere. But that's that. And I just wanted to show you guys this. The inside work took maybe about 2 weeks to do. The framing took about 2 days on the outer sheath. And we still haven't done the roof. We got heavy tarps up there for now, but as soon as I can scrounge up enough good deck board, I'm gonna get the roof completed. And I'm either gonna do that or I'm gonna get that Tough-Tex corrugated fiberglass and put it up there, the clear stuff. Because one of the things that happened when we framed this in, it got real dark in here real fast. And any power that you don't have to use lighting a place is power you can conserve, especially if you're off grid. So make use of the natural light as much as possible. But that's about it. So y'all have a good one, YouTube, and take care. And thanks for watching. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention. Those shelves being full like that, full of tools. That's the first thing I did after I got those shelves built was put those tools out there. My other half really doesn't like those tools being in the house, so it looks like they've been there a while, but they really haven't. I built that not long ago, and the first thing I did was I loaded those shelves up. And we took a bunch of things out of the house that were occupying space in the house, and that's actually a better place to store them, so up they went. There's like some fans, there's a couple fuel tanks, some propane, things like that. Ooh, excuse me. Hiccup. Anyway, that you're seeing me without my glasses. I know I look like shit, but you know, what can you do? YouTube wants video and not audio. But then, if I did audio, who would watch? No, but anyway. But yeah, that whole thing, if I had done that project in a linear fashion, it probably would have taken me less than maybe 3 weeks to put it up, but because I had to scrounge materials a piece at a time to do it, it's like I said, the framing took about 2 days. Me and my dad knocked out the actual stud work. We knocked all that out in about a day. We did the floor. We could have done it in a day, but we got started late, so we got the floor down, and that's all. I think that's 2x8s under there, if I remember right. And we did the floor, and we did the sheathing on the floor in the first day, and then we did the stud work the second day. And we even got the roof. We got the whole frame of that thing up in 1 day. It's amazing what you can do when you have the materials present. You can build fast. but it's by no means on par with anything I'd build for a house. This is just a show and tell, you know. It's just something, hey, look what I did with all this junk I had laying around, you know. As like I said, all that stuff, there's not one purchased piece of material in that building. All that lumber and all that. You'd be amazed what these big box hardware stores and building supply centers, what they throw away. It has a little bend in it, you know. Oh, this stud's bent a little. You know, there's woodworking tricks that you can do. There's tricks you can do to straighten out bowed wood and use it. A lot of people don't like doing those things. I build with only premium stuff. Well, you're spending money that you don't have to. You know, if you're willing to do a little effort and straighten those boards out, you know, the whole thing with studs, their strength is not in the bow, you know, not on this direction. Their strength is vertically. So even a bowed one is amazingly strong, and when you straighten it up, if you have to notch it or do things like that, you're not really taking away from the directional strength of the board, at least the directional strength you need. You might be taking away from this strength, you know, bending it, but you're not bending a stud. A stud is supporting weight vertically. So you can get away with things like that. Or the other trick you can do is if it's only slightly bowed, you can what they call scab on a piece, and you can pull the bow out of it. I mean, there's different ways you can do it. So throwing away stuff, or a board that's got a gouge in it, you know, what's a gouge going to do to a stud? You know, it's not like gouged all the way through, but so what if a corner is gouged, you know, down lengthwise? That's not where the strength of the board is being utilized. And they'll throw that away. They'll put that stuff on a junk pile, and you can either get it for nothing, or you can get it for pennies on a dollar what it cost. And my dad is extremely good at scavenging building materials. He brought me a lot of this stuff. I got another load of 2x4s coming, and none of it was paid for. None of it, no purchase cost, you know. The only thing in that building is, like I said, I probably gave about 20 bucks for the window that's by the dryer, but all that stuff. And I have to put some errata in there. The door actually does have bolts in it because I had to do the internal framing of the door before I had the nail gun, so that all was done with bolts. And but the rest of that, all of that, every bit of that is all done with nails, hammer and nails or nail gun. There's probably about I've probably got close to 1,000 nails in that thing, if that much. You know, I used little under half of my box of nail clips. So that also, I need to do a review. One of my videos that's coming, I want to review a nail gun that I bought at Lowe's. It has been a great tool. I've used it almost exclusively on that thing, putting that up, except for the 1/4-inch sheathing. I had to go to a different kind of nail for that. But I bought a Blue Hawk nail gun. Let me tell you, that's been a great piece of equipment. I went for years swinging a hammer, busting thumbs and this, that, and the other. But I tell you what, unless I'm in a jam where I have to use a hammer again, I'm going to use that nail gun from now on. One of the things when you start getting older is you're supposed to start getting wiser. And I'll tell you, I will work wiser than harder any day. And that's pretty much a good milestone for it. So I'll do that. I'll get some scrap wood and I'll put it together, and I'll review that Blue Hawk nailer, because I think that's a great gun. I mean, as long as you keep it oiled and everything, the thing just keeps going and going and going. I hooked it up to a contractor grade compressor and away we went. It doesn't need a huge compressor to work either. It's just a little 5-gallon pancake that it's on, and it's doing its job. So I'm going to step out of here. There's a fresh pot of coffee over there, and I'm tired. So I'm going to go and I'm going to grab me a cup, and I'm going to pour me a brew, and it's my only vice in life. It could be worse. At least I'm not on crack. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it gave you some ideas. Who knows? I just thought I'd show you all that and talk about it a little bit. Because like I said, I plan on building small houses, but they're not going to be on such a rudimentary level as that shed. That shed was a necessity, and it was just built out of scrounged stuff. So don't use that as any reference point to judge. I mean, I didn't even use a blueprint on that thing. I built out of the seat of my pants with that. So away we go, and y'all have a good one.